Is anyone ready for something this big?
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at open world entries in video game franchises that prove bigger isn't always better. To be crystal clear, we're not saying these games are bad, just that their open worlds, or open world aspects in some cases, were kind of unnecessary and didn't bring anything to the table.
Location.
The source is 4 kilometers from here.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon series.
Guess you've been down here a while?
Ubisoft's Ghost Recon series earned a passionate fan base due to tense, tactical mechanics. But when you transition those mechanics to an open world, you lose some of that tension. The franchise first took that route with 2017's Wildlands, which was still positively received despite a departure from its roots.
If you were to assist my people, it would do much to earn my confidence.
Sadly, the choice to go open world would backfire in later entries. 2019's Breakpoint was a shallow and dull slog from its missions to its gameplay. Ubisoft thought it would expand further for the next entry, Frontline, by making it an open-world battle royale. But its trailer and closed beta were so negatively received that Ubisoft canceled it in 2022.
This here is just unacceptable.
Gears of War series.
What are you doing here?
Getting you out. Here, put this on, you'll need it.
Known for its vicious visuals and cover-based gunplay, Gears of War is at its best as a linear action horror thrill ride. While there is some interesting lore to uncover, it doesn't feel like a series designed for vast exploration. Yet, 2019's Gears 5 was far more open-ended than the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, but we gotta get up there. Let's try that lift.
To be fair, it wasn't a fully open world, it had open environments. But even that padded time in between the suspenseful, quick-paced encounters that populated previous entries. And while those elements were still in Gears 5, and damn fun too, there wasn't enough else in the open sections to justify them.
I need help.
There's a place up north.
Mirror's Edge series.
We need to clear out. Better take a different route to the Everdyne Tower. We'll split up again, keep them confused.
Although Mirror's Edge barely has enough entries to be considered a franchise, it still fits the bill. The 2008 original was an action-adventure game that focused on parkour mechanics. And while it wasn't anything monumental, it nailed the gameplay and gave us an engaging playground to run around in. However, following a mobile prequel, the decision was made to reboot it with 2016's Mirror's Edge Catalyst. The new entry was set in an open world, and although its mechanics were just as good, they weren't quite as fun to experience this time around. There simply wasn't enough substance to fill the larger space.
Just get some rest.
Dragon Age series.
Better ready yourself for the blame you will be rightly assigned.
Like Gears 5, 2014's Dragon Age Inquisition isn't a fully open-world game, instead featuring several connected areas that act like miniature open worlds. Some fans were already unhappy due to how Dragon Age 2 turned out, and this big of a change likely had them yearning for the return of simpler times at the franchise's start. BioWare reportedly struggled with using the unfamiliar Frostbite engine, which was forced on them by publisher EA and was built with first-person action games in mind. Inquisition was still a standout RPG with the wonderful character writing and mechanics the studio is known for. But when it came to setting it in this type of environment, it wasn't really necessary. Metal Gear series.
You look well rested, big boss.
Admittedly, many of our entries should come with asterisks next to them. Konami's Metal Gear franchise first implemented open-world aspects with 2014's Ground Zeroes, which was way too short to fully take advantage of them. 2015's The Phantom Pain, on the other hand, was set in an open world and was plenty long.
Kept you waiting, huh?
It's clearly an excellent game, featuring fantastic stealth gameplay and a mind-melting narrative. However, some players found the world a bit too empty trekking between their missions. Regardless, the format would be used far worse in 2018's Metal Gear Survive. While many elements led to it being bad, the generic use of the open world and its lifeless gameplay were near the top.
Getting used to it?
Final Fantasy series.
The world world's a big old place,
Filled with wonders.
Most Final Fantasy games have gigantic worlds, but players are still bound to a linear story. However, Final Fantasy XV is a bit different. Surprisingly, the first entry in the long-running franchise to be full open world, it follows Prince Noctis and his friends attempting to save Eos, said open world, from a dominating empire. While Eos was a stunning setting, it wasn't much fun to explore outside its visuals. In fact, criticism of the game's empty open world was so frequent that it caused Square Enix to approach the next installment differently.
How the f*** did this happen? How the f*** did this happen? Was this a bug?
While Final Fantasy XVI still included big open areas, the progression of the story was much more linear. To be fair, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth had great open world exploration. So this is more a case of a franchise making that big leap before it was ready.
Was wondering, what's Cloud been doing these past 5 years? Where's he been?
Harry Potter series.
Now, let's try something a little larger.
Anyone who grew up with Harry Potter craved the chance to visit the Wizarding World. The movie tie-ins were as close as we could get, but there were a few other releases over the years like the LEGO games. However, none of them truly lived up to their potential, which is probably why so many people were excited for Hogwarts Legacy. It promised an enchanting experience, even boasting an open world with the school grounds and the neighboring village Hogsmeade. While fans loved seeing the famous locations recreated, actually exploring them could get rather tedious. It seemed like an open world just for the sake of one, and many would have preferred a more streamlined experience.
Looks like it's back to the shelf for you.
Mass Effect series.
I brought you back. It's up to you to do the rest.
With the Mass Effect trilogy, BioWare let us explore the far reaches of the Milky Way galaxy, and yet, we didn't need a massive open world to get completely lost in it. All we needed was the studio's expertise in world building, creating riveting characters, and giving players an immense sense of freedom. And then along came Andromeda.
Brother, what's that?
While the game would be criticized for a number of issues, going full open world was a big one. The developers initially wanted the planets to be procedurally generated, an idea that was not only scrapped because it was too difficult and expensive, but which cost them significant development time. Therefore, Andromeda's planets ended up feeling devoid of anything worthwhile, and populated by boring side content like fetch quests.
So, if we clear the skies, this might be our new home.
Halo series.
I didn't even know what a banished was an hour ago, and even I can see the odds aren't great.
Yes, you should listen to her. You're gonna get us all killed.
While Halo had toyed around with the open world concept before, it didn't take the full leap until 2021's Halo Infinite, and it honestly shouldn't have. On paper, setting this entry on the franchise's namesake, a gigantic Halo ring world, seems like a great idea. But when players got their hands on it, they found this setting meant the majority of varied biomes prevalent in past installments were all gone. Instead, your options were limited to similar-looking buildings and woods, which got dull pretty fast. This was reportedly the result of 343 scaling back during production, not that it makes the pill easier to swallow. And it isn't as if the side content is varied enough to justify the decision either.
It doesn't matter now. Nothing else matters.
Dynasty Warriors series.
Terrible news! The Yellow Turbans are here! They're just outside the village!
We don't normally rank our lists, but if there's one franchise that deserves the top spot here, it's Dynasty Warriors. It had long been established as a hack-and-slash series that pits powerful player characters against full armies. While gameplay tended to be repetitive, that didn't make it unfun, and the battlefields were sized proportionately to contain the action. That all changed with 2018's Dynasty Warriors 9, which is flat out a bad open-world game. Sure, what makes the series work is still there, but spreading those combat encounters out over a barren, uninspired environment makes them a lot less enjoyable. Whenever Dynasty Warriors 10 comes out, we really hope it isn't anything like this.
Tell me honestly, what is it that you want?
You seem like you know the way of the world.
Which franchise do you wish hadn't gone open world?
Now they know you're gone. Time to get off the ground.
Share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great gaming videos every day.